All right, Chris. Chris, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Carson, California.
Tell me about your family growing up.
Grew up in a good household without a dad, but raised by my mom and grandparents. I was born in 1981. Come from a working class family. Grandparents retired. They worked. My mother worked. She passed away a few years back.
What was your childhood like?
My childhood upbringing was privileged. Pretty much got what I wanted.
Stayed out of trouble?
For the most part, just like any regular teenager or kid, got into typical stuff that a teenager would get into. Didn't go to jail as a teenager. It was pretty cool. Grew up in front of the TV acting with Betty Bridges in her acting school.
You finished high school?
Yes. I went to Sherman Oaks, Center for Enriched Studies. Went to college. It was different once I became an adult because I was able to do what I really wanted to do, and I wanted to do everything that I wasn't supposed to do. I was attracted to that stuff, all the bad stuff. You know, I joined the gang too as a teenager. But I was still a good kid, still going to school. It was more of a tribal thing, you know, belonging to somewhere, you know. I can't blame that on my father not being in the home. Some people do, I don't. It was a decision I made as a child. And everything after that was just decisions that I made, good ones and bad ones.
You got in some trouble.
Yeah, I didn't start getting into trouble until I was an adult. I was arrested for armed robbery, assault charges. I married early. Domestic violence, repeatedly. Just a slew of things.
What was the first offense?
Armed robbery.
Tell me about that.
It was like a misunderstanding, you know. Me and a friend of mine, we was hanging out. We was young, you know, probably like 18. We was hanging out, and we ran into a fellow blood gang member. And he said he was going in the store, so we was waiting out in the store, asking people for change so we can get one of those cigars or black him out or something. And we look in the store, he got a gun out. He's robbing the store, and I'm like, whoa. So by the time we could leave the area, the police had came everywhere and arrested us. And we sat in jail for a little bit, and before we get interviewed by the detectives, I told my buddy from my neighborhood, I said, hey, let's just tell the truth. We don't know this dude. We don't know him. We don't have nothing to do with nothing. We don't even know what was going on. So we stuck to that story. And
That was the truth?
yeah, it was the truth. And they just let us out, you know. And getting out, we missed one of our friends' funerals, one of my close friends, because we was in jail. And a lot of people was mad at us. It was like, oh, you didn't come to the funeral. You know, they never talked to me, asked me what was really going on. But yeah, that was the first one. Second one was like maybe some domestic stuff, possessions, assaults, terrorist threats. Just a gang of bullshit.
What's the attraction to all that trouble?
It was more like being a vigilante, just being freelance, just doing what I wanted, you know. Making some fast money, some quick money, a lot of it.
The delayed gratification of going to college and doing it that way just didn't appeal to you?
Well, I was doing it while I was at college. I was selling drugs at college, you know, and you know, things happen with that too. It was just a image that was painted, like, let's get it now, because you don't know if you're gonna be here tomorrow. So let's just get it now, you know. You know, when you're young, you think for the right now, you don't think for the future. You want it like right now. You know, the things we know today, if we knew them back then, we wouldn't have made those decisions.
How old are you now?
I'm 40 years old now.
You're 40.
Yeah.
You got involved in drugs too?
Oh yeah. Drugs crept up on me, man. About a little bit before my mom died, it was always messing around with them, but I wasn't all the way into it like that. It just led up to it, from marijuana, alcohol, just abusing those things, to meth, till I was abusing that, going out of my mind, to crack cocaine, even now, currently, and it's just new to me, and it's an escape, just abusing it, not really caring.
Where's the drug life taking you? Usually it sends people spiraling downward.
Oh yeah, the drug life took me spiraling downward. My health, my physical health. Got to walk with a cane.
Why is that?
Broke my spine. Snapped my leg in half. I had about 100-foot fall out of a hotel room window.
How'd that happen?
Under the influence. Being under the influence.
You fell which floor?
The 6th.
6th floor?
Yeah.
Hotel window you fell out of?
Yeah. The window was broken. I was trying to pull it closed, and I fell out of it. And the rest is history, Broke my spine and the lumbar, cracked my sacrum.
What'd you hit?
The concrete.
6th floor?
Yeah.
You're lucky to be alive.
Oh, yeah. And since then, I was healing up, doing well, but it just wasn't progressing. So being in the hospital, taking all the medications, and the IV shots they was giving me, caused a relapse. For the pain. So started with heroin. I couldn't get that anymore, so meth is so easy obtainable. So I was doing that. That was making me go loopy. And then somebody said, "Hey, try this." And I'm like, okay. So I'll start doing that. And, the best is still yet to come with me. Just trying to get a way out now.
Do you have kids?
Yes. Yeah, I got kids.
Where are they?
They with their mothers. Yeah.
And where are you staying now?
Man, I'm here and there. I'm all over. I'm in the streets. I'm homeless.
How long has that been going on?
Since my injury, since my accident. I wasn't homeless before my accident. I was working, had my own place, just thriving. And, this accident took me back to where I didn't want to be. It's kind of kept me there.
That was how long ago?
It's February 2022.
So a little over a year.
Yeah.
What's your biggest regret in all of this?
Having an accident, having my accident.
Yeah.
Coming back down here and having my accident. If I wouldn't have came back down here, it wouldn't have happened. Or it might have. It probably would have just happened somewhere else. But it's one of my regrets.
If you hadn't played around with drugs, you probably wouldn't have come down here.
That part. If I wasn't messing around, none of this would have happened. Sometimes it takes stuff to happen for some people to change. Everything ain't for everybody.
What did you want to do when you were done with college?
I was thinking about audio engineering. I was in college for audio engineering. I was a history major, so I wanted to either teach or just do something in the audio field, whether it was television or music.
What's your biggest fear right now?
Dying without leaving my kids anything.
And living this lifestyle, dying is a possibility.
It increases. Possibility increases. When you in active addiction, you're around people that's in active addiction. Everybody's on different frequencies, and different comprehension levels, and reasoning skills are diminished. capacity to just reason in peace is just gone. So when you're around that 24/7, things can happen. Things can happen. It can go terribly wrong very quick.
Do you think having a dad in your life might have helped you avoid some of these things?
Oh yeah, I believe my dad was in my life. It would have helped tremendously. But at the time, from what I know, is he wasn't right himself. He is now, but back then he wasn't. So it would have just been the blind leading the blind, so to speak. And me, I don't want to lead anybody, not until I can lead myself. So I just keep my mouth shut about a lot of things, you know.
What's it like falling out of a 6th floor window?
Man, the first thing I thought when I was falling, I was like, well, I'm about to die. This is it. That's the first thought that came to my head. And I remember hitting the ground, everything was black, and I'd been down there for a while bleeding out. And
What time of day did it happen?
like the late evening. And I've been down there for a while. Yeah, that was a catastrophic right there, injury right there. That was.
How's it affected you now? You're walking with a cane.
It sucks, man, because I can't fend for myself all the way. I can't do a lot of things. And in Los Angeles, you can always be put to the test when you're in the streets. It's gonna be somebody that's gonna try to test you. So I can't sit and play Houdini, but I gotta be prepared and be ready for whatever comes towards me. And it's difficult because that put me in a situation where it's kill or be killed. But I don't live my life to go out and hurt people. But I do gotta protect myself. But in protecting myself, I can end up in prison or end up dead. So it's tough.
Do you find yourself to be self-destructive?
No.
No?
No.
What's your greatest strength, do you think?
Speaking. Talking.
Mm-hmm. What do you go through emotionally, especially after the accident?
I wouldn't say I go through things emotionally. I just learned how to stop thinking about what's been lost and what can be gained. I try not to dwell on how I used to be, and I think about how I can be now. Drugs is not the problem. Drugs do what they're supposed to do. Ruin lives, get you high. They do all that. I just focus on what can become, now.
Has your fall changed your attitude about what you're doing? Because it sounds like you're still using.
Yes. It changed me a little bit. It's humbled me to a certain extent. I feel like I'm a lot more humble.
What are you using currently?
I like all drugs. I like all of them.
Mm.
I like to use all of them.
Is that because of your self-worth, you think, or is it just you just started screwing around with these drugs and?
Well, since my accident, I was looking for something to kill the pain. And drugs kill the pain. They help you escape.
Where were you escaping from?
The pain, the trauma, the body trauma, the mental, the PTSD it gives me.
You're saying before the accident or after the accident?
After the accident.
Oh, after. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of PTSD from that.
Oh, yeah.
But you were playing around with drugs even before then.
Oh, yeah, I was, but I wasn't. I don't feel like I was solely dependent on them back then. It was just like if they were there, they were there. Now it's like, man, where they at. It's different now.
Chris, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in all of this?
Just don't move too fast too soon. You kind of got to sometimes play possum with yourself. You know, you just kind of got to let things play out how they're going to play out and then bust a move. When you're moving too fast, you won't see everything. Like on a motorcycle, when you're riding it too fast and you get that tunnel vision, it's kind of how life can be. When you're moving too fast, especially being on the substance of something, you'll miss something. You'll miss something that you probably would have needed to learn or see or know, or you'll miss something. You'll miss the mark.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Hope you continue to heal and get your ass out of this neighborhood.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you.